Today on Stock Charts in Focus, we're taking you on the go, taking a look at some of the tools and features around stock charts that you can use to chart and analyze the markets when you're away from your bigger screens, your laptop, your desktop. When you're out on the go, you're on your smartphone, you're on your tablet, we're going to show you some of my personal favorite tools that I use to keep an eye on what's happening in the markets. Going to be a fun episode, lots to show you on today's show. So you know what it is. It's all new. It's all here. It's Stock Charts in Focus. All right, my friends, welcome to the show, Stock Charts in Focus. Of course, our product focus show here on Stock Charts TV, where we dig into the site, walk you through the features, show you all that's there to help you get more value out of stock charts. That is our mission here on Stock Charts in Focus. My name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts.com. And today is going to be a really fun episode. We're actually going to, as we usually do, reach into my own personal toolkit. I'm going to show you some of the tools and features that I use when I am out on the go, charting the markets, analyzing my portfolio, finding new stocks and funds that are trending and outperforming the market, all of that good stuff that we want to find as technical analysts. Now, today's show is kind of inspired by what's going on in my own life. Believe it or not, I am actually moving. This is one of the last times, maybe even the last time, that you guys are going to see that bookshelf right behind me. I have been out on the go a ton. We've been over at the new house. We've been down at Home Depot buying things for the move. So much going on. And that has really taken me away from the laptop, away from my desk, away from the big screens and all of that. So we're going to walk you through 3 of my personal favorite tools, show you how you can get more value out of those tools when you are out on the go, when you're away from the desk, away from the laptop, away from the monitor, the big screens, all that good stuff when you're out on the go, charting the markets, seeing what's happening while you are out of the house. So we got a lot to cover on today's show. Let's get right to it. We are starting today's episode. Number 1, my first favorite tool to use when I am out on the go, charting the markets from my phone or from my tablet. We're actually starting from what I like to call the heart and soul of stock charts, the members dashboard. I want to show you actually how you can use this tool, this page, when you are on the go. So what we've done here actually for the rest of the show, we've actually shrunk the screen size down. So you'll see today's episode probably looks a little bit different than what we do, normally from week to week. But in this case, we've actually shrunk the screen size down to a bit of a larger smartphone, one of the kind of larger iPhone sizes, one of the larger Android devices. But what this gives you a sense of is how stock charts can kind of scale down to fit some of these smaller devices. We're going to show you all the customizations that you can make to this page. We'll actually show you how I've personally set up my dashboard, and we'll walk you through some of the different features and the reasons that this is a helpful page when you're out on the go. So of course, the dashboard first page, like I said, that you see when you log in. Of course, you can always get there by opening up the little hamburger menu at the top corner of the screen when you're on your phone or on your tablet. Select your dashboard, and that's going to take you right to this page. Now, it's nice because like all the rest of the pages around stock charts, we've got the menu here at the top of the page where you can enter in a symbol if you do want to jump over and chart something. You can also jump over to any of our other tools, which is actually something that we're going to come back to in just a couple of minutes when we talk about some of the other tools we're going to feature on today's show. Now, from there, we get into sort of the meat of this page and what makes it an incredibly helpful resource as you are going through your sort of on-the-go routines. First and foremost, you do have this row of buttons up at the top. There are a couple important features here. So these actually jump you further down the page to your chart lists, or if you have this row turned on, which I'll describe in just a sec, your scans and your alerts. You can click any of these buttons and it'll actually shoot you down the page and give you quick access to your chart lists, your scans, and your alerts. Now there's one more that we want to talk about as well, which is the little gears icon. So all of the features that we're talking about here, things like your scans and your alerts, are actually customizable options that you can choose right from here. So when you give that little gears icon a click, this window is going to pop up. And this gives you a lot of different settings that you can add or remove from your dashboard. These are all of the different options that you have available to you. You've got some additional data panels, which I have turned on. You can also turn on the scans and alerts row. That gives you quick access to your scans and your alerts as a member. You can also turn on what we call the ChartList panel. So this brings up two of your sort of favorite chart lists that puts them right on the dashboard, gives you quick access to the data in those chart lists. I like to use this, as you'll see, for some of my portfolios, sort of keeping an eye on the things that I own right from the dashboard. You can use them for watch lists. You can use them for your own custom market evaluation lists. Anything under the sun, anything you can think of, those two chart list panels are a helpful feature to turn on. Lastly, one that I actually don't have on my personal dashboard is our commentary row. Now, I like to get my commentary from StockCharts TV directly or by going to our articles page, but you can actually turn on the commentary row and get those features right from your dashboard. You've got these preferences here that you can play around with. You can save that. And one of the keys with all the features that we're going to talk about today, actually, especially the dashboard, is that these aren't saved in some kind of database. We don't store it. We don't do anything with your settings. They're actually saved in the browser of your specific device. Any device that you're on, when you set these preferences, they'll actually get saved to the browser of the specific device that you are on. Now, the benefit of that is that when you're on your laptop, you can set your dashboard up in any way that you want. You might want it set up a little bit differently when you're on your tablet or when you're on your smartphone. So you can actually go to those devices, set up your dashboard with all the preferences that you want for that specific device. And because they're not shared across devices, you actually have a little bit more flexibility. You can really customize your experience across different devices. So I personally like that. We'll talk about another important use of that in just a second when we actually flash back up to this menu at the top of the page. But those dashboard preferences are going to be incredibly important. Now, you do have access here on the dashboard to all of your different member tools. So that's another important part. If you do want to sort of navigate around the site, pull up maybe the market summary, the sector summary pages, any of those other tools that you like to use, you have that available to you. But what makes this so powerful when you're out on the go is that you've got all of these market analysis tools right at your fingertips. So most importantly, you have the market overview panel. So right on your phone in this sort of customized view, you can see everything scales down, fits the device really nicely. All these different panels actually stack on top of each other. So it makes it really easy to sort of scroll through your phone and use the dashboard as a resource for seeing what's happening in the markets when you're out on the go. You've got this market overview panel first. That gives you all of these different tabs for what's happening across some of the major equity indexes, also what's happening in the bond markets, what's going on with some of the different major commodity groups, and then also a crypto panel. So you can actually see some of the biggest, most popular cryptocurrencies, what's happening with all of those. Now, for any of these, you get little mini charts. So for instance, you can click on the S&P 500. That'll pull up a mini chart of what's happened over the last 2 days in the S&P 500, down into maybe the small cap group if you want to jump into that, or the mid cap group, or the mega caps with the S&P 100. All of these are actually clickable. They update in real time. So as I'm out on my phone, this is actually one of the most important things that I pull up on the dashboard, the market overview panel. I've got that loaded up always, and it's a great resource throughout the day to keep an eye on what's happening in the markets. Now, I've set up my dashboard with the sector summary up next. So this market overview panel is going to be there for everyone. That's a sort of a staple of the dashboard. But from here, we jump into what we call the data panels. When we took a look at those dashboard preferences earlier and we had those additional data panels, this is what we're talking about. So you've got some different options. I've put the sector summary up next because after I've taken a look at what's happening in the market, I want to dive into the next layer down, which is the sector level. If you want to customize this though, you can open up this more menu and you've got all of these different options available to you. Market movers, scooter reports, things like the ticker cloud, even some predefined alerts or the decision point signals. Lots of different options here for you. Now from there, I go sort of one level down into the market movers. Again, all of these settings are customizable, so you can choose what you want in these different panels and they will be there when you return. So in my case, I've selected market movers as the next panel up. I've set that to the S&P 500, one of the big indexes. So this is going to give me quick access to 10 of the stocks that are the biggest gainers on the day, but I've also got 10 stocks that are the biggest laggards on the day, the biggest decliners, or the most active tab. Now below that, I've got the S&P 400, which is jumping into the mid-cap group. Same idea, I can see what's moving that mid-cap group. And again, because all of this is stacked and it's all responsive, as we like to call it, it scales to fit my device, and it's really easy to just kind of sit there scrolling through my phone or scrolling through my tablet and following all of this. I do have different options, so I can jump down to something like the S&P 600, or I can look at what's moving the Dow, what's moving the NASDAQ or the NYSE, or some of these other markets as well. All those options are there for me. Now I've got another panel below that, which is the ticker cloud. These are some of the most popular symbols on StockCharts. Always a fun one to track. You've got some major stocks like Apple that are typically on the ticker cloud, but especially when you see some of these sort of hot stocks, they'll start to pop up and show up on the ticker cloud, which is always an interesting indicator of sort of what's starting to gain some traction in the market. So that is my next view up. And from there, we move into what I call those chart list panels. So those additional chart list panels. As I mentioned, I like to use this to actually keep an eye on some of the things that I own. So in this case, I've split my portfolios into two different groups, what I call the core and the explore. So I've got those panels here. And as you can see, I've got, percentage change data. So it gives me a way to track sort of what I own and how it's moving on the day right from the dashboard. So these are my core positions. And then I've also got my explore positions, different things that I own here. And I can track all of those performances as well. And these are all configurable with this little button right here. So this actually allows me to select which chart list shows up in this panel. So if you turn that on at the top, you can come down and click the mini gears icon here in the panel itself to actually select which chart list you want loaded in here. Again, all of this is going to be there when you return, and you can customize it across different devices. So you can sort of set up each one individually, each device individually. Now, finishing up the dashboard tour, we've got your scans and your alerts down here. So when I'm out on the go, if I do want to run a scan, I can do that very easily right from here. I can select which scan I want to run and just hit that run scan button, get a list of results and start to breeze through those. But I can also see the alerts that I've created. And of course, I can jump into any of my chart lists. Chart lists, an incredibly important part of my process, probably one of the most powerful features of StockCharts, really. So I spend a lot of time working with my chart lists, and of course, we've got those on the dashboard as well. I can click into any of these, click these names, and dive right into there. Or I can open up one of these menus to view those chart lists in a variety of different views. So all of that is available to me on the dashboard. Like I said, I really do call this the heart and soul of your StockCharts account. And because I've spent a little bit of time customizing this page to sort of fit the way that I want to watch the market, with that market overview panel, then the sector summary, then some of the market movers groups, this is an incredibly powerful resource for me throughout the day, even if I'm on the go, even if I'm out at Home Depot buying moving boxes and packing tape, I can still watch the markets right here from the members dashboard. So that is our first stop on today's tour of three of my favorite on-the-go charting and analysis resources, the members dashboard. Now, next up, we're going to jump into a stock research tool. We're talking about the symbol summary page. This is one that on my mobile devices, I've actually set up as my menu favorite. So what I mean by that, now in this case, we are actually recording this from my laptop and we've sort of modified the screen. So I want to show you how you can do this. But if we were recording this from my smartphone itself, you'd actually see that my menu option is set up a little bit differently. We're going to do that actually right now together. So when you open up this menu at the top of any page around StockCharts, you see that you have all of these different tool options. So you've got things like Sharp Charts or ACP, you've got GalleryView and point and figure charts, also different things like the symbol lookup too, if you want to go and use some of those symbol research tools, see if we have a symbol that you're interested in, you can do those. You got other things like RRG and seasonality. A couple of these though, we've got these little stars by. Now, by default, Sharp Charts is going to have a star for you. But across all of your different devices, you have the ability to star any of these different tools, whichever one you want to be your favorite, your go-to. And again, as I mentioned, because these settings aren't actually saved behind the scenes in some kind of database or anything like that, because they're not synced across your devices, you can actually set up different devices with different favorite menu options. So in my case, On my laptop, I may have SharpCharts or ACP, but on my smartphone, I actually want something like the symbol summary, or as we're going to talk about next, the GalleryView tool. So when I go to my smartphone, it's really easy to type in a ticker symbol up here, and instead of going to a big sharp chart, I can actually go to the symbol summary page. Now you'll see the value of that in just a sec. To walk you through this though, all you've got to do is open up this menu, click the star for any one of these tools that you want to favorite. You'll see that that star turns yellow. And then to actually load it into the menu, you do have to click that one more time on the name. So now this menu has changed to be symbol summary. When I open this back up, you'll see that that yellow star is now right by the symbol summary name. And so now what I've actually done is favorited this symbol summary as the menu option around all of StockCharts on this device. So again, if you do this from your phone or you do this from your tablet, it'll stick on that device and that'll become your menu favorite around StockCharts for that device. Now, the beauty of this is that the symbol summary tool, one of my favorites, one that I use a ton, the symbol summary tool is beautifully formatted for your smartphones, especially your smartphones, your tablets. It works great on a laptop, works great on a desktop, but it works beautifully on a mobile device. And especially when you're out on the go, you just kind of want to get a quick check of something. You want to maybe check what's happening after hours or look up a specific stat or get a little mini chart, sort of see what's happening with a stock. The symbol summary kind of has all that there for you. So I personally like to make the symbol summary my favorite on my smartphone. And every time I come to StockCharts, all I have to do is type in a ticker symbol here. Let's do something like Intuit, and I can hit enter and I'm taken right over to the symbol summary page. So instead of going to my phone and having to sort of fumble with this menu, because I've set the symbol summary as the favorite, it always shows up for me. So this is the symbol summary page. This is stop number 2 on our little tour today. One of my favorite tools when I am out on the go. Again, sort of a high level research tool. It is a summary for any symbol that you want to see around the site. Now, the beauty of the symbol summary page, like I mentioned, it brings in a ton of data. It's beautifully formatted for any device, and it gives you access to a ton of different features, especially things that you might want to use when you're kind of out on the go. You might want to do your higher level charting, your higher level research later when you got more screen real estate. But if you're thinking about a stock, you want to check up on something, maybe something just reported earnings, you want to see what's happening in the after hour session, something like that, the symbol summary page is a beautiful place to go. So we'll walk through this really quickly. Up top, you get that sort of general quote information. Of course, the exchange, the sector, and the industry. You've got your price data, the last price for today in big, up at the top of the page, percent change, all that stuff. When we have a pre or post market session, you also get that data right here with the little after hours price quote. So you can actually see what's happening on this page for the pre and post market sessions. Of course, you get things like market cap and volume as well. And then from there, as we get down into it, you've got your little mini chart here. Now, this isn't intended to be a full deep dive into high level technicals. This is just intended to give you a sense of what the trend is, what the direction of price is. We default here to 6 months, but you do have a whole bunch of options for you. 2 days, this is an intraday chart, in this case a 5-minute chart, as you can see right there. You've got things like 5-day charts, you've got a 1-month chart, a 6-month chart, 1 year, and a long-term 5-year weekly chart. So I like to come here, just kind of pull up a chart, see what the direction of price is, see what the trend is, and sort of flip back and forth between some of these time frames. Makes it really easy to access. You can always click this and it'll actually take you right over to the full featured sharp chart. But if you're just, again, sort of on the go, researching different stocks, researching different funds, you can always use this page to get sort of a general sense of what's going on, especially with this little mini chart feature. You do have access to some of the other tools around here as well. So Sharp Charts, P&F, GalleryView, that's actually going to be our next stop, teasing that a little bit. But you've got access to some of those other tools here as well. And then from there, we get into all of these different cards on the symbol summary page. So you've got that summary view, which brings in a little bit more of that kind of quote-like information. Things like 52-week range, all-time high, what the average volume over the last 50 days is. Next earnings date and the previous earnings date. That's a big one that's nice to see on here. And then also stuff like dividends. If it does pay a dividend, you'll get that annual dividend and the yield right there. So lots of that summary information there. You've got a little bit of a fundamental view here as well. Some of these key fundamental metrics that people like to watch, things like PE ratio, PEG ratio, price to book, price to cash flow, all that stuff is right out here. Percentage held by institutions, tons of that fundamental data right here. And that's actually something that we are working right now on expanding. So more coming on that very soon, kind of teasing what's coming up here pretty soon in the next couple of months. But we've got that fundamentals card here. So it gives you kind of a high level overview of some of those fundamentals for anything that you're researching. You've got technicals down below that. I love to use this, especially to get a sense of how things are trading relative to key moving averages like the 20, the 50, and the 200. Also, some of that historical performance, though, over some key time frames: 1 month, 3 months, 6 month, year-to-date performance. Actually, that's one that I look at a lot. Nice to see that on this page. And then a couple of key technical indicators, things like RSI, stuff that you're familiar with. So we've got a little bit of a technical summary here. We get into our scooter rank. We've got a nice visual for what the scooter rank is and a little bit of history to that as well. So we can actually see a couple of months of history of how the scooter rank for a stock has been moving. We've got earnings and analyst ratings coming soon. That's another piece that we are working on. But down below that, we've actually got some very important pieces of this page. The profile is one that I use a ton, especially for stocks that I'm researching. Again, all these features are also things you have access to from any device. So from your laptop, from your desktop, when you got your big screens, this page is also a key page, a great resource. But this profile gives you corporate descriptions, things like that. So if you're researching a company, you want to see maybe where they're located, get a description of what the company does, you can actually pull that up right here. And then the last couple on this page, also something I use a ton. You've got predefined scans for any stock that you're looking at on the symbol summary page. So if this stock has triggered any predefined scans, that'll actually show up right here. So in this case, we can see Intuit has been trending really, really beautifully lately. So we've got a whole bunch of things like new 52-week highs, some different predefined scans that Intuit has actually been matching with right there for you. And you can click on any of these to get results for those as well. If you've created any alerts for this stock, those will also be right here. So it's a nice way to see that right in one view. And another key feature, if you've saved this stock into any chart list in your account, all of those will also show up right here. So in this case, I've actually saved Intuit into a whole bunch of things. This is actually a stock that I do own, but I've saved this into a whole bunch of different chart lists, and it's been triggering a whole bunch of my different scan lists. So things like all-time highs, new 52-week highs. Intuit has just been an absolute flyer. So this is a great resource, though. If you're wondering, hey, have I saved that into any chart list in my account? You've actually got that here on the symbol summary page. So lots and lots that you can do here with this symbol summary page. And again, because it's mobile friendly, it scales down to fit any device you're on. And I find that this is a great tool when you're out on the go, when you're charting away from the desk, when you're researching stocks, seeing what's happening in the markets away from the bigger screens. The symbol summary is one of my absolute go-tos. So that is our second stop, the symbol summary. Another one, especially that I like to favorite, by the way, make that a little star. But the other one that you also could star that I find is incredibly helpful when you're out on the go, when you're charting from your phone or from your tablet, is GalleryView. So again, if you're just kind of researching things, if you want to see what's happening in the markets, the dashboard is a great tool. If you want to get sort of a high level view of what's happening for a stock, maybe a small chart and a little bit of price data, what's happening after hours, things like that, the symbol summary page is a great one. But if you do want to bring a little bit more chart analysis into your process on the go from your phone or from your tablet, we can use the GalleryView tool. This is actually one that I love to use, one of my stops when I'm on the go from my phone looking at charts. Instead of having to go over and pull up the full featured Sharp Charts workbench, I can actually just jump over to GalleryView. So this is another one that you can actually star. So as we're going through this, remember that, keep that in mind. If you do think that GalleryView is a great fit for you on your phone or on your tablet, this is actually another one that you can star. But we'll select this from the menu and we'll actually do Intuit again. So I'll type in INTU and I've jumped us now over to our third and final stop on today's tour, the GalleryView tool. So what we do with the GalleryView tool is we take a single symbol and we actually view that in multiple different time frames. We put all of those different charts on the screen at one time, stacked on top of each other. And again, everything is mobile responsive. So everything gets scaled down to fit your screen. Now, one little trick that I have done, because you can actually customize your gallery view charts by saving specific SharpCharts chart styles called Gallery Daily, Gallery Intraday, and Gallery Weekly. You can actually customize these charts, so mine might look a little bit different from yours. I've actually set the size of those Sharp charts down a little bit. So instead of having bigger sizes, I use the GalleryView tool quite a lot from, like I said, my smartphone and from my tablet especially. So I've actually sort of modified those saved GalleryView chart styles to be a little bit smaller. That makes them fit on these devices a little bit better. But you can do that too. You can save your own intraday, daily, and weekly styles here for GalleryView. Super easy to do. We've actually done some episodes on that in the past, and you can click this little instructions button here to get more details on that. But once you do that, this is how it looks. Every time you come to GalleryView, it'll have the settings that you want. So in my case, I've got an intraday chart here. This is a 45-day, 1-minute chart that I like to look at. Brings in a little bit of volume information, also accumulation distribution and on-balance volume, plus a price relative line, of course, benchmarked against VTI. That's the thing that I like to benchmark against, the Vanguard Total Index, the total US stock market. So I've got my intraday chart here. I've got my daily chart here with a couple of the different indicators that I like to use, plus some overlays, moving averages that I like to keep an eye on. And then below that, I've got a weekly chart. This is a bit of a longer term view, a weekly chart of whatever I'm pulling up. And here on GalleryView, we also have a point and figure chart at the bottom. So you've got all of these charts available to you in one screen, scaled to fit whatever device you're on. And what the beauty of this really is that you don't have to go fumbling between different charts. If you want to bring a little bit of a chart analysis into your sort of mobile approach, your on-the-go process, you can sort of do that all in one screen here with GalleryView. You don't have to go fumbling with settings or anything like that. By using this GalleryView tool when you're on the go from your smartphone, from your tablet, whatever device you're using, you can put these charts right in front of you in one easy to use view. You can sort of zoom in on your intraday chart, really sort of narrow in on that and focus on that intraday view. But you can also compare and contrast that with the daily view right there on the screen without having to leave, without having to go anywhere. And you can even bring in that longer term perspective with the weekly chart or a different view here with the point and figure view. So I find that this page is a great one to use when I'm charting on the go. It gives me some of those favorite styles that I want to see. Again, the sort of go-to intraday, daily, and weekly styles all on one screen in one place. And it's set up there right for me every time I come here. I don't have to go sort of punching around different settings. Don't have to go fumbling with any menus or anything. All I've got to do is type in the ticker symbol I want to see, and it's right there for me with this GalleryView page. So those are my 3 favorite charting and analysis on the go tools around stock charts. You've got your members dashboard. You can customize that to really be sort of the home of your market analysis. When you're researching stocks on the go, I find that symbol summary page is an incredibly powerful one, especially if you're out on the go during earnings season, maybe keeping an eye on what's happening in the pre and post market sessions. That is a great one to use. And if you want to dig into some charts while you're out on the phone or out on the tablet, away from your desk, away from the bigger screens, that GalleryView tool, our third stop in today's tour, an incredibly powerful resource for charting in a pretty easy to use, concise, everything kind of right there for you type of package. I know we covered a ton on today's show, but hopefully this has given you a sense of how you can use some of these different tools around stock charts when you do have to step away from the desk, when you are in the middle of moving and packing and running around like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to get your entire life moved from one place to another. I am speaking from personal experience right there. But using some of these tools when you are out on the go, you really can keep an eye on what's happening in the markets, keep an eye on what's happening in your portfolios and with the stocks and funds and everything that you are watching. You can do that really from any device with these different pages. My name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts. It's been fun to be with you today, sort of tour you around some of my process. I want to thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you again on next week's episode when we do this again next Friday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on StockCharts TV. But until then, chart on, my friends.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.